Hello, humans of the earth, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful day. My name is Heidi,
And my name is Dana.
and this is Fun Times with Dana and Heidi.
Today we'll be discussing the latest, most luxurious, hand-woven, artisanal, positive news stories. But first, we have our tweet of the week. This tweet comes from Dank Mean King, sure, and it says, this is one of my favorites. I know I say that for everyone, but this is a very luxurious hand-woven artisanal that also goes along with our luxurious hand-woven artisanal positive news stories. So it says, from Dank Meme King, it says, assert your dominance by calling your friends by their student ID number. And I think that's super funny. Like, I remember when I was little, they gave me like the ID number, and then they're like, this is you. And I was like, no, it's not me. Those are a collection of 6 numbers, and those ended up being used for the rest of my K through 12. So that's a little weird, but I think that it would be very funny to call your friends by their student ID numbers because it's very dystopian, very robotic, and you're just asserting your dominance in a very unique way. Heidi, what do you think? I know you're very pensive on this.
I don't know what to think. Like, I don't know whether this is like a good thing or a bad way to assert your dominance. It's like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2. How are you? Like, it's very dystopian.
Yes, it is very dystopian, and sometimes you just want to be the main character. Sometimes, and the way to do that, the way to kind of like gain that entry to this dystopian universe, where you're superior to everyone is by calling your friends by their student ID number. Sometimes that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So yeah, so thank you, Dank Meme King, for this lovely insight into the way we should lead our lives. So now Heidi has a very wholesome news story that she would like to share with you all. So Heidi, go ahead and take it away.
Yes, ma'am. So moving on from dank memes, we have 2,200 cold stunned turtles have been released by volunteers back into the Gulf Ocean coast. Yes. So hundreds of turtles are now returning to their home in the Gulf of Mexico after suffering a terrible ordeal during the recent winter storm in Texas. And a little fun fact, me and Dana live in Texas, and this takes place very. We only got power outages and canceled school and broken pipes. It was cold enough to cold stun sea turtles. And whenever they say stun, this really reminds me of Harry Potter because I'm getting into Harry Potter, and
Yes,
like
as you
stun,
should. As you
yeah, it just
should.
reminds me of that.
Yeah, what is
So
it? It's a
yes,
yeah. Oh, poor sea turtles. They're so cold and then they kind
I
of just
know
got
this.
paralyzed. That's so
It
sad.
really painted a picture in my mind.
Mhm.
So freezing temperatures made sea turtles unable to swim, so they have to float. And because they are unable to move their necks and draw their breath, they drown and die. So we needed to get the sea turtles out of the freezing temperatures. And I know, like down here, like I'm not sure how it was in the water, but in our area, it was cold. But I know up north, like in Alaska, which is its new name, and in Houstonias, they have like some on Twitter. I was scrolling and there's a picture of a frozen fish tank, and the caption was, "Well, that fish for sure dead." And then like there's like icicles hanging from the fan. Yeah, it was basically very
Icicles
cool.
from the fan? That's crazy. And
It
in
was
Texas,
crazy. It was crazy.
okay, like we live in an area that didn't get affected by that, but like imagine like people in Texas are used to like heat all the
Mhm.
time. And then now there's icicles in the fan and the dead fish in the
And
frozen
there was
tank.
like a frozen toilet. Yeah, it was weird.
So, for those of you who don't know how bad it was, well, now you know. Icicles everywhere and frozen toilets and the poor little
Exactly.
sea turtles. They're so
So
sad.
the poor little sea turtles had to get help from volunteers from all over the area, such as beach natives such in South Padre Island. I have been there, and it's a really cool place. And even nearby SpaceX engineers, because we have like a little SpaceX station in Boca Chica, I think. So they helped bring 5,000 sea turtles to makeshift refuges managed by Sea Turtle Incorporation. So this is all over the news. And so this is all over the news. And what they did was they used the South Padre like convention center, and they would lay down a huge piece of tarp, and the turtles were like laid down from tail to nose, like in lines. So and they would have to wait for their turn in water kiddie pools, and it was the only method of recovery available when the power was out, because Sea Turtle Incorporation, their power went out, so they needed to move to another place. So you just have like a bunch of sea turtles in this huge room. But now onto the good news. Now that the weather is warmer, 2,200 sea turtles were returned in the Gulf of Mexico 2 days ago on the slide. And so, yay for sea turtles. There was like a video going around as well, and it was showing them. They were literally dropping the sea turtles gently on a slide, and they were like swimming. So, I thought that was really cute.
That's so cute. Now and be sea turtles, which is what they were meant to do, not stupefied, as in the Harry Potter books and or
Mm-hmm.
movies. Yup. So good for them. We love sea turtles, and the Visco girls do too. We love them and we appreciate them.
They're cute. They were like harmless. Well,
Yeah,
like
they're
not harmless.
harmless. They don't do anything. They're just little. Yeah, they're like little babies. They're so cute. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
now moving on to the next news story, and I'm sure that some of you have heard of this by now, but there is a woman named Haley Arsenault who is a former cancer survivor that is now the youngest person to ever be launched into space in history. Is now the youngest person to ever be launched into space in history. So Haley Arsenault was a young girl who was battling bone cancer at just 10 years old, and later in life, she grew up to be a physician's assistant in oncology at St. Jude's Children's Hospital, the same hospital where she once was. And she was to represent the famous hospital on the first ever all civilian space flight arranged by SpaceX to take place at the closing of 2021. So by the end of 2021, she's going to go to space, and that's really cool. So the kind of organization or project that's spearheading this whole thing is Inspiration 4, and it's this huge fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, led by a guy named Jared Isaacman, which is like two first names combined to make one main name, and they just put man at the end, but we love him. So we love Jared Isaacman, but we love him. So we love Jared Isaacman, and he is the CEO of Shift4 Payments. And this sort of experience is going to be a private multi-day and sightseeing and research trip into low Earth orbit. And there's going to be 4 seats in what SpaceX calls the Dragon capsule. Mystical and mythical and great. So 4 seats will be on the Dragon capsule, which symbolize 4 pillars, and our snows will represent the pillar of hope, which is very cute. And another will go to a sweepstakes contestant who's donated a certain amount to St. And the other will go to a random business owner who uses Isaacman's payment service, which is actually a pretty interesting business model. Like, participate in what my company does, and you might get a chance to go to space. That's fun. So, yeah,
That's
and
interesting. I would like to say 3 things to note. I love how her last name is spelled Arsenault, Arceneaux. I thought
yes,
that was really cool.
yeah.
And imagine pulling up to St. Jude's Children's Hospital and having a 10-year-old your physician's assistant.
No. She's 29 now.
Huh? What? So
Like,
there
she
has been a
grew up.
misunderstanding. Oh, so she's still alive.
Yes. Heidi, this is.
I'll
Heidi,
cut
this
this
is.
out.
No. Don't cut it out. Don't cut it out. Don't cut it out. Don't cut
I
it
thought
out.
this was like Make a Wish.
No. She's very much alive, which is why she's going to go. Don't cut it out. Don't cut it out. Don't cut
I
it
thought
out.
this was like Make a Wish.
No. She's very much alive, which is why she's going to go on this space. Okay, So Haley Arsnow was a 10-year-old girl who had bone cancer, recovered, grew up,
Oh my
became a
gosh.
physician by the staff members to go into space by the end of this year. Has that
Oh,
clarified
okay.
things?
I
Yes.
get it. I get it. Wow. And good for what's his name? Isaac Man.
Yeah.
I just remember that part. For raising money. Heck yes.
Yeah. Especially as a CEO. Like he's actually he's a wholesome CEO. Not
Yeah.
like some other people that we don't like. Okay. So Arsenal hopes to show the kids at St. Jude's that the sky is not even the limit anymore, which is like a whole new level of inspiration. And she says that it's going to mean so much to these kids to see a cancer survivor in space, which is very, very cute and a great wholesome message to all of these kids that are suffering from cancer, unfortunately. And the team, when finally assembled, the 4 people who will ride in the Dragon capsule, will receive rigorous training and everything necessary to operate in the unique SpaceX Dragon capsule. And Arsenault will be the youngest American to exit Earth and the first American astronaut with a prosthesis. Is that how you say it? I know it's like a prosthetic thing. Okay, Heidi's saying yes.
Yeah, I think so. Prosthesis.
Yes. So sorry if we pronounce that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's right. So sorry if we pronounce that wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it's right. So she has a prosthetic because her thigh bone has a titanium rod that she got after surgery. And yeah, Inspiration 4, which is this project, is the first entirely civilian space flight, as well as the very first privately chartered space flight. And I here saying that he hoped to raise $200 million for St. Jude's and $100 million of that from his own fortune. So this guy, he's got the funds. He has secured the bag. And, he's using his money for a good cause, which is really, really great. And
He's
yeah, it's really
rich.
heartwarming. Yes, Heidi, he's rich. Yes, Heidi, he's rich. And yeah, it's really heartwarming to see that, like, even at such a position, not all the world is filled with greed and terrible things. And, there's people that still really want to go out and make a really positive difference in the world and in a really interesting way by literally traveling to space. So Heidi, do you have anything else to comment?
I like this. I like the idea of sending random civilians. No, not random. Carefully
Well,
chosen.
technically random though, because
Right?
yeah, technically, like, okay, one of them is like who donates the most to St. Jude's, and then the other is like a random person who's to St. Jude's, and then the other is like a random person who uses that company service. So they're sending a cancer survivor, a super rich person, and a random person to space, and a CEO.
Yeah, I like that, like, how civilians are able to, like, get a chance of going out of space. I thought
Yeah,
that's nice. Out of space. I thought
yeah.
that's nice because it's usually just limited to astronauts. So it used to be too bad if you're not an astronaut, you can never go out of space.
Yeah, but now it'll be life changing for these people. So good for them and good for Haley Arsenault. So now moving on to science talks segment. This is actually going to be really cool. Okay, so scientists have figured out a way to communicate with people while they're dreaming. So there's Heidi. Have you ever heard of lucid dreaming?
No, I haven't. Please explain to me.
Okay, lucid dreaming is basically like be dream, which is like
Hold up. Hold
weird.
up.
Yeah, you like
I just
you recognize that. You're
Yeah,
lucid.
I just looked up the definition of lucid and it means expressed clearly, semicolon, easy to understand. Oh, that's weird. Oh, wow, lucid dreaming. Huh.
Yeah. So, scientists have figured out
Huh.
yeah. So, scientists have figured out a way to communicate with people while they're dreaming and they're having these lucid dreams. So you can communicate with the external while you're technically unconscious, which is really cool. So, with partners at 3 universities around the world, one from France, one from Germany, and one for the Netherlands, dialogue with a dreaming person is possible, and that dreamers were able to solve simple math problems, answer yes or no questions, and sense things presented to them. And so the researchers, what they did is that they studied 36 volunteers who aim to have a lucid dream where the person is aware they're dreaming, and using this very big word, polysomnographic, which is sleep science data, they could sorry, they could confirm that study participants have reached the REM stage of sleep, which is the rapid eye movement, so REM, phase in which lucid dreaming can occur. And movement, so REM, phase in which lucid dreaming can occur. And interestingly, the dreamers were able to have real time conversations, comprehend questions asked to them, engage in working memory operations like math, and produce answers with certain eye movements or facial contortions. So even when we're dreaming, like we're aware that we're dreaming, but even when we're in like a different mental state, we can still find ways to communicate with the external and even do math in our heads, which is really cool.
That's
So
so. Sorry to interject, but I wonder how they carried out this experiment. Like, is someone talking to them while they're dreaming? Experiment. Like, is someone talking to them while they're dreaming?
yeah, someone is talking to them while they're dreaming. Someone is talking to them and asking them these questions. They're like, I don't know, simple math probably be like, what's 2 plus 2? And then like if they probably have some sort of communication system to determine like what. We do know that from the study communication is possible. So they have also, this was a kind of a strange part of the experiment, but sure. They also used a rotten egg smell to associate with cigarette smoking, which caused the dreamer less inclined to smoke the following week. So I'm
That's
assuming
smart.
that is smart, because I'm assuming
That's smart. Smart.
like you're like subconsciously recognizing that smoking is bad because here's a rotten egg. Look how disgusting that is. It's also smoking. It's also bad drugs and smoke. Not
That's
smoking.
true.
Cigarettes are
This
drugs.
can build healthy habits.
Yes, best build healthy habits. Let's just have a researcher come into our rooms and bring us rotten eggs while we go to sleep, and there's not going to be any more smoking again. No, I'm joking, but it did reduce, or they were less inclined to smoke the following week after doing that, which is interesting. Finding a way to communicate while people are dreaming could open the door, and how memory storage depends on sleep. So this is going to result in a lot of different and really interesting studies. So yeah.
Interesting. Now, if I catch you in your sleep lucid dreaming, I'll be like, Dana, what is the chemical composition of sodium bicarbonate? And you'd be like, blah, 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 blah. Sodium bicarbonate. And you'd be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, exactly. And I'll be able to do it subconsciously, and I'm gonna scare the life out of Heidi. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, yes. Sleeping scares indeed.
Yep.
Yes, so segueing into my review segment, we have.
Of this segment,
I
Boujee
do
on a
too.
budget. Honestly, this can be like a segment within a segment. Like Boujee on a budget, colon Heidi
Yeah,
reviews. Actually, no, backwards. Fun times with Dana and Heidi, colon Heidi reviews, colon Boujee on a budget. I love this. Tell us more, Heidi.
for
How can the
sure.
people be bougie? Love this. Tell us more, Heidi. How
For
how can the
sure.
people be bougie on said budget?
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm gonna try to be as like ungendered. That sounds really odd, but I know that our like viewers are split mostly between the middle, between female and male. I would like to help all genders. I would like to help all genders, and even if you don't have one, these are clothes.
Thank you,
So here we
Heidi.
go. So I would like to say Costco has great quality control. It has amazing quality control. I've I have not been to the mall in a very long time only because of corona and there's a lot of germs in the mall. No, absolutely not. I do not want that. So I have been refraining myself from going to the mall. But the last time I have went, it was starting to feel more like a junkyard, you know? Like I felt like everything was just being piled onto the department stores. Not all the stores had good clothes, and you really had to go search had good clothes, and you really had to go searching for it. Nothing was being handed to you. So that was a quite a waste of my time. So I decided Costco. So Costco, they have a screening process before they enter the market. So all the items, it's not just oh here. It's like oh does this. So they have a great quality control system. So all the clothes that are on there, it's good quality. And the thing is, it's stylish. Do you know the brand Athleta or Lululemon? Or like, for
No way.
example,
Costco has Lululemon. I've never been. I don't remember. I've either never been to a Costco, or I do not remember consciously ever stepping foot in a Costco because it's so far
okay,
from my
yeah,
house. But they have Lululemon at
it's
Costco.
Not so fast. So basically, they technically do. I consider they having Lululemon in Costco only because I don't really care too much about brand names. Like if I see a Kirkland coconut, only because I don't really care too much about brand names. Like if I see a Kirkland coconut oil next to the actual brand of coconut oil, they have the same ingredients. Just get the Kirkland one. But the quality, like I've even seen like TikTok speculations, like you know that hair shampoo Pureology.
I have
Well,
no
it's a
idea what
very
that is.
expensive. Speculations that Costco is like just a same manufacturer, just different name. You know that type of thing? Where like
Oh, so like
L'Oreal,
you're getting a dupe of it. Like it's like the same ingredients, same shebang, as to use Heidi's
yeah,
vocabulary, but a different name and a lot
mm-hmm.
cheaper. Bougie on a budget. Okay.
So like there was like these joggers, right? They're very in style. They're very comfortable. They're like very athletic. It's athleisure wear. There we go.
Oh, okay. Athleisure wear. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
she's giving me the Ivy Park brand
Yes.
athleisure. Okay.
And you know how it costs like $100 extra to have like a Lululemon stamp like in your clothes?
That's crazy. That's
Like it costs
crazy.
money.
$100 for a little stamp?
Yeah, it's just for the brand. Like
That's
people, they're
stupid.
yeah. The thing is that they have like great quality clothes, and like I'm just using Lululemon as an example, but there are like so many brands that have such great products on their name. They're just, and even food objects too, food items as well. So Costco has these joggers that look like Lululemon and Athleta dupes, and people have told me this looks like Lululemon. I'm like, nah, this is $15 from Costco, and it's the same great product, same great fabric, and it's super stylish like whenever you think of like bougie but like on a budget, you expect like a very knocked off dupe. Like for example, Balenciaga's. You see like Balenciaga, like like it's very like low end. Like I pick no Costco. It has like stylish clothes. No Costco. It has like stylish clothes. Like I would actually wear it.
Whenever I think of bougie on a budget, I think of like Ross and like
Yeah,
TJ,
yeah,
like
yeah.
all those like very specific department stores where like, oh, here's what the designer brands decided to throw away and we're selling it to you. But
Mm-hmm.
never expect Costco to have such great dupes. And honestly, I kind of want to go now. Like it just
Go.
have
It's easy on the wallet.
it's easy
It's
on the
easy on the
wallet,
wallet.
great quality. What more could you want from bougie on a budget?
I know, and they also have great strawberries. Like strawberries at HEB, no offense, they're great, but they're kind of pricey. And for in
They are.
Costco, you get them in bulk and they're the same price, similar pricing.
Ooh.
So it's just wonderful, wonderful. So yes, go to Costco. They have everything there. It's a one-stop shop.
Yeah. It's like one of those warehouse stores, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's like a huge warehouse. Like this is it's like white pearlish polished like floors. No, Costco's like a literal warehouse. Like there's like
Yeah,
metal bars
Costco's
on the top.
Costco's like the cross between Home Depot and Walmart. But,
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
yeah. But you know what? We love Costco because they have great clothes. Yay, Costco.
Yes, Costco. So this brings us yes, Costco. So this brings us to a close, sadly. But before everyone leaves, this is our motivational quote for today. So this quote is by Kate Morden, and she says, "You make a life out of what you have, not what you're missing. So make your life as it is. Make the best."
That's fantastic advice. You don't really need anything more. No, but that's like actually like seriously a really good quote because
Mm-hmm.
there are some people that always are focused on wanting more and they don't really stop and appreciate, all of the things that you already have in this moment in time. So, make a life out of what you have, not what you're
Mm-hmm.
missing. And also in parentheses with an asterisk at the bottom.
Yeah,
Listen to Fun Times with Dana and Heidi all the time, every day.
all the time, all the time. And I would just like to say, this episode's wonderful because now I can read Dana's facial expressions because I can read Dana's facial expressions because the platform that we are recording on has a new camera system, so I can see her emotions. I can see
Yes, we can see human emotion and interaction, and it is simply wonderful. It's a platform called Zencaster, and it is a
A
topic here.
revamp.
Yeah, they did a
Mhm.
revamp. Everything is very aesthetically pleasing, very pleasing on the eyes.
I know it went from a Walmart to a Target. Like I
Yeah,
loved
she
it.
did go from a Walmart to a Target. Before it was like very it looked kind of sad, but now it's like colorful and we can see each other. And it's very animated and lively. So,
I love it.
yes. And they
It's
have lots of new features.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Indeed, it's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and I love it
Did you know that
here.
that's actually a word in the dictionary?
That's
I
actually
looked it
a
up.
word in the dictionary or movie. Or was it there before the movie?
I don't know, but I googled it like just so I can know how to spell it, you know? So I'm like supercalifragilistic, and then the Google dictionary had an actual like dictionary. Like it was like it says adjective, informal, and it tells you the pronunciation, and its definition is or extraordinarily good. Semicolon wonderful. So I thought that was really cool.
I'm doing a bit of research right now to see if it was in the super in not in the super if I'm doing a bit of research right now to see if it was existing in reality before or after the movie came out. But it says the writers of the Oxford English Dictionary think that the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious was first used in the 1940s. So, that must have
You
been a
can think
very
of Mary
interesting
Poppins.
person who. So, thank you for listening to our supercalifragilisticexpialidocious podcast. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed this episode. And yeah, so
Share it with your friends, share it with your family. Share, share, share.
yep, share it. For with anyone who you think might be interested to listening to our positive news stories and short little ramblings. And make sure to follow us on @FunTimesWDH if you want updates on our podcast, you want some fun memes, etc. You'll have a good time in our Instagram page. Go follow us. It'll be worth
Mm-hmm.
it. And also make sure to visit our website so that you can read more about today's positive news stories and find out more about them. Do a little research, watch some videos that correlate with it. It'll be great. It'll be great. So that is all for now, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode. So thank you very much, and bye.
Goodbye.